Right. So how did you have funds to go to a bar and have alcohol if you're unemployed?
I had some money. I had borrowed some money that time
From who?
from my mother-in-law.
All right. So this is what I don't understand. You're an adult male. Don't you feel some kind of way that you have to go to your mother-in-law? She's already letting you live with her. And obviously, you and her daughter keep having children that you financially can't take care of. So she's having to financially take care of children, living with the fact that you all keep having children as though you don't know where babies come from. And then you're asking to borrow money from her and you're getting intoxicated.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to the channel today. We are going to see a court case. Judge Boyd shames Big Mouth Mooch for refusing to work. So let's watch it together.
Court is calling 2023 CR 10008, State of Texas versus Randy Lee Elizondo. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Andrew Harris.
Defense.
Juan Aguilera.
And are you Mr. Elizondo?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all of the discovery and did you review it with your client?
I have, Your Honor. I have.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Elizondo, did you review the document entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Elizondo, did you review the document entitled Court Admonishments and Defendant's Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with retaliation? That's a third-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
He does, Your Honor, and basically we filed a motion for competency, and Dr. Smith made a determination that Mr. Elizondo was competent to proceed to trial. And based on Dr. Smith's findings, we find that he is
All right.
competent to proceed.
And do you believe he was sane at the time of the offense?
He was, Your Honor.
Mr. Elizondo, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea?
No.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, there's a $2,000 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication. This will run concurrent with 717866. The state will take in consideration 718-308, 720-320, 720-321. There's to be restitution, if any, to the city of San Antonio and cause number 720-320. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense is at the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
State is at the plea.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
The judge just put on a masterclass in patience, walking the defendant through every right like a teacher, explaining the alphabet. You sure you get positive swear on it, and still had confirmed no one forced this grown adult into a plea deal honestly, this level of patience deserves a trophy or at least a strong cup of coffee.
Have there been any such motions?
No, there weren't, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is asking that your term of deferred adjudication be for 6 years. There be a TAP evaluation and 200 hours of community service restitution. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offense as charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No content.
State, any evidence?
Contained in Exhibit 1 and attachment, Your Honor.
Any
No objections, Your
objections?
Honor.
All right, state, you may be excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Did you review the document entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state would be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states Exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, after reviewing states Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you ready to proceed with sentencing?
We are, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Yes, Your Honor. We'd like for the court to consider two items. It's number one, that he be possibly probating the fine, if not all of it, a portion of it. In Dr. Smith's evaluation, Mr. Elizondo, there's some issues as to his learning disabilities, also the fact that he suffers from bipolar situation. But basically, we are in the process, or Mr. Elizondo's in the process of applying for Social Security disability. So that's, hopefully we can, that application will be successful and he'll be able to get some assistance. The other thing, although we are not in a mental health court or anything, if the court could possibly have him be assigned to the MIC unit, that someone who can deal with Mr. Elizondo's situation that Dr. Smith was able to detect and just and during his evaluation of Mr. Elizondo. So do we ask for those two things, Your Honor?
All right. If you drug tested today, what are the results going to be?
Dirty.
And what are you going to be 30 for?
Weed.
All right. How often are you smoking?
About like once a blunt a day.
Okay. And who do you live with?
My mother-in-law.
All right. Do you have
Mother-in-law.
children?
One children and I have one on the way.
All right. How old is your child?
10.
And do you live with your child? Are they at the residence?
Yes.
When's the last time you had employment?
It's been a while.
So how did you have money to go to a sports bar to drink? Because they're saying you were intoxicated in the middle of the street. That's why they were called for a welfare check.
I was in the parking lot. I was in the middle of the street.
All right. So how did you have funds to go to a bar and have alcohol if you're unemployed?
I had asked for money. I had borrowed some money that time
From who?
from my mother-in-law.
All right. So this is what I don't understand. You're an adult male. Don't you feel some kind of way that you have to go to your mother-in-law? She's already letting you live with her. And obviously you and her daughter keep having children that you financially can't take care of. So she's having to financially take care of children. Living with the fact that you all keep having children as though you don't know where babies come from. And then you're asking to borrow money from her and you're getting intoxicated. That could have been
It
money
was
for
just
your
a period of
10-year.
time.
The judge just hit him with a reality check harder than a Monday morning alarm borrowing money from your mother-in-law to get drunk while she's already covering for your responsibilities bold strategy. And the whole I don't know how babies happen act priceless. The judge didn't even need a gavel. The lecture alone was a knockout.
Going through a moment in my life. So right now I'm just trying to do better. And my lady does work. So we do not live off the mother-in-law,
You do.
but my girl takes care of me. We're a couple. We've been together for 12 years. So, it's a thing we got for each other.
Well, that's a thing that I guess she is tolerating that. Sometimes people accept things, but you need to have employment because
Yeah, but how can I get employment if I don't got the right nowadays people just go by judgment. They want to judge you for everything.
oh no, there are plenty of places that you can get employment at. Nobody's going to judge you at KFC. They just want to know, are you going to be to work on time?
Yeah, but
to
is a
cook the
work
chicken?
is a pay good enough for you to live?
Well, guess what?
And nowadays they don't even pay you enough to pay your rent to go
Okay,
shopping and groceries. So it's hard to live in this world like that.
you're right. So let me ask you this.
Especially when you don't got a car or when you gotta get around. It
Mhm,
makes life harder on you, especially when you don't got no parents. I grew up all myself in my life.
mhm.
You know?
So let me ask you this. If you have all those stumbling blocks in your life where you say it's hard to get a job, you can't get around because you don't have a vehicle, because I guess via is too good for some people, and you can't get a job because people are judging you, then why do you keep bringing children in the world that you financially cannot support?
If that's how you feel, that's how you feel.
No, I mean, that's a fact. You are bringing children into this world. You don't have any money to provide them with clothing. Obviously, the person that you're with is financially taking care of your children. You are not. The grandmother is giving you a place to stay, and you're borrowing money from her to go to a bar. Those are the facts. So, what's your mother-in-law's name?
Angie, I already don't know too much. My girl's right there. She could tell you about her mother.
Oh, let's bring her up. Angie? Testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth. So help you God. All right, you can lower your hand. Keep your voice up so the court reporter can hear. All right, can you state your name for the record?
Gabriela Montes.
Gabriela Montes. So are you and Mr. Elizondo married?
Not by law. Maybe like 2 years. Oh, it was in 2020 because we worked in the same company. So 20 years.
So you worked in the same company in 2020. So why did he no longer work there?
I really
At
don't.
that time, I was going through issues with myself.
I really don't remember, but I mean, he does like side jobs, I guess you could say, here and there.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for giving me some insight. All right, he can come back.
Judge, I believe basically in just the evaluation that Dr. Smith made, I think there's probably the court can become cognizant of the fact that why he's unable to be employed. He kind of, with his bipolar situation, it's just kind of difficult for him to be able to probably hold jobs.
All right. This is what the court is going to do. There's to be no contact with 210. Sorry. It is. There's to be no contact with 210 Sports Bar located at 1946 Southwest Military Drive, San Antonio, Texas 78221. There's going to be a mental health evaluation and a TAP evaluation in custody. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. 6 years deferred adjudication. Follow all TAP recommendations.
The judge just delivered a master class in accountability, and this guy's excuses didn't stand a chance complaining about jobs while refusing to take one blaming judgment instead of effort, and somehow thinking side gigs count as stability pure comedy. And let's not forget the grand finale of Barber Evaluations and a fine that basically says grow up or we'll keep having this conversation brutal but necessary.
There's going to be a $2,000 fine. The court will probate the fine.
Thank you, Judge.
This is run concurrent with 717-866, taking consideration 718-308, 720-320, 720-321. There's to be restitution, if any, to the city of San Antonio, and cause number 720-320. There's going to be 200 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to order parenting classes. Once parenting classes are completed, 100 hours of community service will be waived. Regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Regular random UAs. There's to be no contact with Angela Del Rio and Gabriela Montez or 51 Story Wood.
How if I live there?
And that's San Antonio, Texas, 78213. There's going to be proof of employment within 45 days of release. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Probation, is there anything else?
Did you order field visits?
Yes. Field visits, one time per month until further notice. And you can see if felony drug court, do a referral to felony drug court. And if he needs a place to stay with his drug history, he can stay at lifetime recovery. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Make sure that you stay in communication with probation. If you feel as though they're not addressing any issues, you can always come back to the court. Good luck to you.
Judge, wait a minute. As far as addressing the issue, as far as no contact with Ms. Del Rio or Ms. Gabriela, he's been living there for the last 10 years. I mean, it's just going to be kind of difficult for him to be out of that location.
Oh, that's why I ordered lifetime recovery.
But wouldn't it be better just for him to continue living there because he's employed?
No. So we'll see where we are after he completes lifetime recovery.
Lifetime recovery is how long of a process?
It depends on your client. Sometimes it's 90 days.
So we can come back and revisit the issue
Yes.
in 90 days. Okay. We'll do that.
This judge isn't playing a guy got hit with full reality check parenting classes, community service, employment, proof drug court, and no more crashing at the same place for a decade while doing nothing as lawyer trying to argue for him to stay nope, judge shut, that down real quick. We'll see after you complete recovery translation, prove you're serious or don't even ask.